Hello and welcome to this video lecture for the University of Connecticut's online course, Classics and Ancient Mediterranean Studies 1103, Classical Mythology. I'm Roger Travis, Associate Professor of Classics at the University of Connecticut, and whether you're enrolled in this course or not, I hope you enjoy the lecture and learn something about new ways of looking at classics and at myth. Thanks for watching.
So after Ceyx dies at sea, and Alcyone keeps praying for him at Juno's altar since she's the god of marriage, Juno demonstrates again just how big a jerk she is, really like all of the gods in the Metamorphoses, and decides that she just can't deal with Alcyone praying to her anymore. She sends Iris, her messenger, to go to the house of Sleep and tell Sleep to send a dream, and Sleep chooses out from all of his sons Morpheus. And on page 268 of Melville's translation, this is what we hear about Morpheus. Then Father Sleep chose from among his sons, his thronging 1,000 sons, one who in skill excelled to imitate the human form, Morpheus his name, than whom none can present more cunningly the features, gait, and speech of men, their wonted clothes and turn of phrase. He mirrors only men, another forms the beasts and birds and the long sliding snakes. The gods have named him Icalos. Here below the tribe of mortals call him Phobator. A third, excelling in art diverse, is Phantasos. He wears the cheating shapes of earth, rocks, water, trees, inanimate things. To kings and chieftains these at night display their phantom features. Other dreams will roam among the people, haunting common folk. All these dream brothers the old god passed by, and chose Morpheus alone to undertake Iris's commands. Then in sweet drowsiness on his high couch he sank his head to sleep. The reason for all that fiddle-faddle about Morpheus's brothers and how he is a specialist in doing royal people is on the one hand just for Ovid to have a little bit of fun, but on the other hand to demonstrate that this Morpheus is the ultimate in terms of somebody who could be in a dream to imitate Ceyx. He is a specialist, a craftsman in this kind of form changing, in this kind of metamorphosis. And like I said before, his name indicates that he is thematic. He is the spirit of metamorphosis. And so what we're about to see when he goes down and imitates Ceyx in this dream for Alcyone is something that's going to have a lot to do with what this entire anti-epic means. So here's what happens then. Soon through the dewy dark on noiseless wings flew Morpheus, and with brief delay arrived at Trachis town, and laying his wings aside, took Ceyx's form and face, and, deathly pale and naked, stood beside his poor wife's bed. Okay, two things to note here. The first one is that when you think about it, Morpheus does not have to take the form of Ceyx. We have plenty of dreams in the course of ancient mythology where somebody came down in the form of a friend to inform the dreamer about something that had happened. Morpheus does not have to imitate Ceyx, and as we'll see, it creates Ovid's weirdness here that he does in fact imitate Ceyx. And that leads us on to the second thing that's a little interesting here, which is that Morpheus does not have to imitate Ceyx naked. Presumably, Ceyx was wearing clothes when he drowned. There is no reason for Morpheus to be naked here. Why then is he naked? And let me assure you that Ovid makes a huge point of the fact that Ceyx is naked. Well, one thing that's going on is that there's a kind of fantasy here of the dead guy coming home to sleep with his wife, which is something that, as we know, Ovid would lose no opportunity of thinking and writing about. The other thing that's important about him being naked is something that will kind of gather steam as we go through this next passage, which happens right afterwards. His beard was wet, and from his sodden hair the sea drips flowed. Then, leaning over her, weeping, he said, "Poor, poor Alcyone, do you know me, your Ceyx? Am I changed in death? Look, now you see, you recognize, not your husband, but your husband's ghost. Your prayers availed me nothing. I am dead. Feed not your heart with hope, hope false and vain. A wild sou'wester in the Aegean Sea, striking my ship in its huge hurricane, destroyed her. Over my lips, calling your name, calling in vain, the waters washed. These tidings no dubious courier brings, no vague report. Myself here shipwrecked, my own fate reveal. Come, rise and weep, put on your mourning, weep, nor unlamented suffer me to join the shadowy spirits of the underworld. Two things to notice right off the bat here. One is the very heavy emphasis on recognition. Morpheus, whom we know is Morpheus, in the form of Ceyx, keeps saying, "Do you recognize me?" On one level, Morpheus is showing off. He's saying, look how good I am. You'll never be able to tell that I'm not Ceyx. And this is the real reason that he's naked. That is, that Alcyone, being as in love with Ceyx as we know she is, should be able to tell whether this naked guy in front of her is in fact her husband or not. But the other thing to note as you read that passage is that when you read it carefully, you realize that Morpheus has never actually said, I am Ceyx. He says, I am Ceyx's umbra. I am Ceyx's shade, which is something that Morpheus could also say about himself. That is, Ovid wants his audience to realize that he is playing around, both he and Morpheus are playing around with the idea that Morpheus is in fact fooling Alcyone. And in fooling Alcyone, he is fooling somebody who shouldn't be able to be fooled. The fact that he can fool her indicates that her love was, at least on one level, not what she thought it was. And I'm going to try to illustrate that with a clip from a famous modern romantic comedy. I want you, as you watch this, it's a clip from When Harry Met Sally, to think about what it is that it's saying as a truth value about how romantic love should work.
You realize, of course, that we can never be friends.
Why not?
What I'm saying is that men and women can't be friends because the sex part always gets in the way.
It had to be you. It had to be you.
I've been doing a lot of thinking. And the thing is, I love you.
What?
I love you.
How do you expect me to respond to this?
How about you love me too?
How about I'm leaving?
Doesn't what I said mean anything to you?
I'm sorry, Harry. I know it's New Year's Eve. I know you're feeling lonely, but you just can't show up here, tell me you love me, and expect that to make everything all right. It doesn't work this way.
Well, how does it work?
I don't know, but not this way.
How about this way? I love that you get cold when it's 71 degrees out. I love that it takes you an hour and a half to order a sandwich. I love that you get a little crinkle above your nose when you're looking at me like I'm nuts. I love that after I spend a day with you, I can still smell your perfume on my clothes. And I love that you are the last person I want to talk to before I go to sleep at night. And it's not because I'm lonely, and it's not because it's New Year's Eve. I came here tonight because when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
You see? That is just like you, Harry. You say things like that and you make it impossible for me to hate you. And I hate you, Harry. I really hate you.
The way I read When Harry Met Sally is as expressing the very strong cultural truth value that we have these days about romantic relationships, that they should come out of friendship, that the best marriages are built on friendship, and that friendship depends on knowing the other person very, very well. And that's the way that Harry wins Sally at the end of the movie, by demonstrating to her how well he knows her, and then demonstrating that he loves all those qualities about her, but principally how well he knows her, which is the reason for the flashbacks as he's running to the party. That's the truth value that Ovid is taking apart when he has Morpheus fool Alcyone so explicitly into thinking that he is Ceyx. And just to seal the deal, remember that Ovid didn't have to have Morpheus impersonate Ceyx. Morpheus can impersonate absolutely everybody, but he chooses to do Ceyx naked for Alcyone as a way of demonstrating that, in fact, her knowledge of Ceyx is not what she thought it was.